I'm Matt Cerrone of MetsBlog.com, and it's time for our weekly chat with Tim Dierkes of MLB TradeRumors.com, right here on SNY.TV. Hey, Tim, thanks for calling in today.
Thanks for having me, Matt.
Let me start off with, I guess, what most people think is the next big name to sign, which is Derek Lowe. It seems to me the only team really out there is the Mets. I mean, who do you think? Are there any other teams out there that you feel could match or beat the Mets' 3-year, $36 million offer?
I haven't heard much about that, but I agree with the logic that a lot of these second-tier stars are waiting for Lowe. And that maybe some agents perceive Lowe to be kind of in that second tier, which, in my opinion, isn't really fair. I think Lowe is right below an ace, and he's reliable. He's always healthy. He gets tons of ground balls. I'm a big fan of him, and I think he wasn't too far behind A.J. Burnett, who got a ridiculous amount of money compared to what Lowe will get.
And with Scott Boras representing him, we'll see if there really is any kind of a discount, especially with some of these other guys on the market, waiting for Lowe to sign. Moving on to the infield, a guy that really hasn't been mentioned at all is Orlando Hudson. What's going on with him?
Yeah, he's been connected to very few teams. Some of the teams that, were potentially suitors, like the Cardinals and the Indians, definitely do not look involved for various reasons. People have said the White Sox could make some sense, but, they're always kind of pretty good at keeping a lid on what they're up to, so there really haven't been reports legitimately connecting Hudson to the White Sox. I think the Royals at one point have expressed interest, but, they don't have much money. The Nationals apparently have Hudson as their backup plan after Adam Dunn, but don't like the price on either player. But I could see, maybe a halfway decent market for Dunn taking shape and that leaving the Nationals with Hudson.
Do you think he'll end up with a deal like Rafael Furcal got?
Yeah, I think that's possible. I definitely wouldn't see him getting more than 3 years, and not too much more than $10 million a year. I mean, some of the estimates we were hearing a few months ago, as with many players, you got to knock them down by 30-40%.
Right, and lastly, there's a whole variety of players. I'll just rattle off a few names I wrote down, like Sean Casey, Nomar Garciaparra, Jeff Kent, Garrett Anderson, Ken Griffey Jr., Jose Vidro. I mean, it just goes on. I mean, a lot of these guys we've known really forever, and I frankly just don't see where they end up, especially when you can, take a homegrown player, pay him the league minimum. I mean, what happens to this class of players? Do some of them retire? I can't see what happens to them. Where do you see them going? What happens to these guys?
I think some of these guys really need to swallow their pride and take minor league deals, because I think, the idea of, say, tossing $3-4 million at Ken Griffey Jr., it's not really appealing to anybody. They might want to give Griffey $1 million or, something like that with a lot of incentives, but you're right, there's a lot of young players. It's definitely a buyer's market, so these DH types and these aging, former stars, they're going to get very little. So it's going to be a good test of how badly they just want to play baseball. Will they take $800,000 or a minor league deal? We'll see that soon enough.
All right, Tim, thanks again. As always, we'll talk to you again next week.
Okay, thanks, Matt.
We'll be checking in with Tim each Thursday throughout the offseason, so be sure to check it out exclusively on SNY.TV. I'm Matt Cerrone. See you next week.